So we're going to look at the I'm gonna show you an example using the wool like I have here for the earth angel to hold. So this is a gift of spring. So to make the little tray, I just got some carded wool here. I'm just gonna mix it together and just get a bit of heat in it, my hands, to make like a little ball, a bit like how we did the head. And then I'm just going to felt going round in circles. Yeah, see how it's creating that shape? Little effort, turn it over. Now, don't worry too much about the underside. We're going to have kind of a good side and an underside that's a bit hairy. And these hairy bits are going to help the wool to attach to the fibre there. Now, there is an option of gluing, using some fabric glue and gluing it on. But I find that just by needle felting it a little bit, that it stays on okay. Because it's not, these are not things to be played with, these are things to be hung as decoration, etc. So, you know, that's very loosely put on there, but it's fine. It's fine. Okay. So you make your little tray, and then the easy way how I was showing you to make flowers before, wrap it around your finger, get it into a bit of a circle shape, just a little bit of poking around, and then just starting to bring the middles in. Again, with this sari silk mix, I just have to watch because the fibres don't felt easy because it's sari silk. But I love the fact that you get all these little bits coming out. Okay, turn it over. Quite like that side actually. Again, just do this as many times as you want till you kind of get a shape that you like. The idea is that these are not felted hard. It's supposed to have texture and bits on there. That's what we have from flowers, don't we? And then you can just attach. I put my finger in the middle and do around, and then that way I don't get stabbed. Okay. So the idea then would be that once we put her into position, that we just felt this on the top, and that's like her gift. Okay. So with this one, I had her arms quite low. I'm going to do this one a little bit and just get these out of the way a bit higher. So I put them into like a prayer position, and then I get a bit of merino wool because obviously this is a lot stronger, and you might not first go, you might not get it how you want, so don't worry, it can be a bit fiddly. So you're putting them together. If you tie, just wrap it round. Yes, go to the next one, wrap it round. Don't worry that they're not together yet. Wrap it round and then bring them together. Just wrap that round, bring them together, wrap it round. You see now how they are? You might need to practice this a few times. I still find it fiddly. And get around. Oh, as you can see, I still find it a bit fiddly. And then I'm going to tie it. Again, just be careful. Remember, it's wool. It is strong, but just remember, we're going to give it a little. You can pull these arms, these hands a little bit too. I'm just going to give that a little tug. There we go. Now I've got some snippers. You know, you don't cut this sort of wool. You know, people say that when they use it, they cut it because you just lose all that gorgeous fibre texture. But for tying something like this, you can do that. Now for a little bit of extra security, remember you've got lots of wire there, but I just very lightly, I do that. Just do that. Yeah. And then what you want to do is look at the position. So sit her at the end. Are you happy with where those hands are? Do you want her arms to be up a bit more? I think I'd be happy with them to be there. So in this position, I seat her and I just gently poke around the arms, because I find that extra, just that little bit of finishing helps to keep her arms. See, I hardly did anything then where they are. Now, again, you can look at her back and her head. I'm happy with that. I'd like her head down a little bit lower, actually. So, you know, we're doing it a bit more firmly to get her head down. Remember, do the sides as well. Just be careful with your hair that you don't spoil that. Remember, this is the finishing stage now. Okay, so I'm happier with that. And then the little flower tray that I did, you know, you can see that you can make, I mean, that's a bigger one. I can look and go, well, what do I think of that? Does that look better? Can't see her hands now, but that's fine. But if you had a bigger one, the way that you're attaching it is more near the arm. And again, you just got to be careful because, you know, you've got wire in there. If you were doing a smaller one, and remember, you've got all these fluffy bits underneath, so that'll help attach. I just go around the edge very, very gently and feel my way for where it can go. Now, I've hardly done anything there, and look, it's sitting. So I think I quite like the smaller one, so I'm going to opt for that. Okay, so I'll lie her down because I can see more. I know there's wire there, but I know here I've got a bit of extra wool. And I just go around here, again at the side, and the piece of wool that's nearest, like a stomach side and a chest side, you can go for it a bit more there because you know that you filmed lots of wool there. There's no wire. And that's my go-to, that, ladies. If in doubt, do more towards the chest and the stomach. Might need to be a little bit firmer now. There's quite a lot on there. And you might be going over some of your flowers. I've got a flower there that I'm going over. But I know that's not going anywhere now. Yeah. So that's our little gift of spring. I'm happy with the shape. I can give her a shake. Okay, so I want to just talk about the back. So on this one, poor girl, she looks like she's been through a war. I made some feathers and I added some flowers, which have become quite flat because I've not been treating her very nicely. These are really easy to make and are obviously cost effective because you're going to use the wool, the same wool that you use on the face. So I'll just show you with these what you need to do, because you'll no doubt if you carry on making these, you'll make different size ones. So generally, I lie her down and I look. So in terms of that, if I wanted really big wings on her, there's plenty enough wool. So how they are at the minute, they're quite thick. But again, it's about preference. I like them a bit wispy. So I'll do these as wispy ones, and it's no different to what I've been showing you. Use your needle finely. Okay. Now, if you remember, you see, in terms of this piece, it's a bit thicker at this end. So let me pull it out and show you, because you're probably going to get this with pieces of wool. Yeah. So I'm just gonna right near the edge. See the difference that's made now? And probably more like it'll change the position of where the middle is. But literally, we're just getting that wool together. Whoops, just getting it together. I want to layer on there again now. If that was my middle, yeah, it's maybe a little bit more this way. Now, if you want to be precision, you can get your ruler and you can measure for there. Yeah. So I'm about 4.5 inches on either side for this one, and that's fine. So if I hold the middle, I can make this finer by just very gently taking those fibres out and spreading them out. So I'm not shortening it. What I'm doing is I'm making the ends a lot finer by just pulling them. I'll see how that's made. The wisp at the end, turn it round. It's important you have a bit of thickness in the middle because you need to attach it to a back. And then the same again, I'm just going to take some wispy bits. Please save all your wool, ladies. If you decide that you can't use it, then you can pop it in a little bird hanger and let your birds have it for making nests with. Okay. So we just have a little check that we're happy with that. We can pull them out even more. Pull them out even more there. And you can keep doing that. You can keep pulling them out, spreading them, making them thinner until you're happy with them. Now you can mix wool. I'll probably cover that in another session. So you can get like lovely fibres called Angelina fibres and you can mix them in and you get a bit of a shimmer then on that. So I'm just going to put her to one side a minute. And apologies, ladies, I seem to have a frog in my throat. It's the wool. I'll just have a bit of water. There we go. So that's one way of doing the feathers. Now the other is, so with this one, these are leaves that I actually got from like a haberdashery, and there you can kind of see through them. So they fabric. So they're another lovely, they're lovely that you can add to have, and obviously with the nature theme, they would make a lovely addition there. So they need to be attached, I found, with fabric glue. I have tried overlaying with wool, but they don't stay put. So I use fabric glue on those. And then the other is like with these, where I just bought some craft feathers and I added them on. Again, they need to be stuck. So if you're doing that, so with her, I added a bow. If you were doing that on the back of this one, you could just add a flower to hide. So wherever you glue and do the crossing, because you have like the bony bit with the feathers, you can do that. You could do fabric ones if you wanted to do that. So again, let your creative juices flow. I'm gonna keep her with the wool ones. So again, have a head over the mat. Remember, you've got our hands together now as well. So you don't have to do this hard, ladies, though. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to fold them over so I know that's the middle. And I'm going to just ever so gently put that in place. And you will know by now that why we do it gently is because it can come out easier. And I find that if you look from a distance, you can see whether you're happy. So hold her up so she's looking at you. And I'm happy with that. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to secure them in place. So I like them to come to the top of the shoulder. You might like them to be up further. So you tack them in wherever you want them, but I like them to be at the top of the shoulder. So I'm just gonna go along to where the shoulder is and tack it in. And the other one, go along to where the shoulder is and tack it in. Now, if you want that to be the invisible line, again, felt from the side. Felt from the side. Now, let's have a look. If I hold her up, am I happy with that? Yeah, maybe a little bit more securing higher for that. So I just go a little bit higher there and a little bit higher there. Okay. I have another look. So literally this part is about your preference. Now, if you're happy with it, again, watch her face. You can secure them near the bottom. Again, here, stroke them out the fibres a little bit in the bottom and have another look. Am I happy with that? Yeah, I'm happy. Now, you can continue to move these fibres very gently with your needle. If you want them to be more wispy at the ends, very gently, you can move them out. If you want, so like with my Highland cow here, I like to just twist the ends a little bit to give a bit of shape. If you want to do that, just run these through your fingers. Run the fibres. See? Run the fibres. And you can shape that. So if you wanted to shape your angel wings so you have, you know, a definite shape, maybe a top and bottom, you can do that. If you don't like it, very gently with your needle, pull it out. Very forgiving. There you go. Now, I would say now she's probably at the most delicate that she's been, now that you've put those wings on. So you do have to be careful, but there is a point, I think, with any craft where you get to that point. So we just very gently, I'm just moving that fibre a little bit, moving it a little bit, moving it a little bit, move it. So we're just going upwards there and then down. And that's because I just want to try and get a centre point now with that. So I'm not undoing what I've done. I'm just making it neater, really. And this is where, if you wanted to, if you think it's a bit ugly there at the back, you can add some more flowers. You could put a big bow on a back, or you could add flowers. I mean, I made another one of those, didn't I? So, that could be quite nice there, or even in the middle to cover that seam. That could be lovely too. So again, it's up to you how you do that. I'm just going to secure that dress in a little bit more. Okay. I want them to kind of stand up a little bit. So again, just use your needle gently. Remember, it doesn't bend, that needle. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. Lay it down. If you've got a piece of coloured paper, you can always put that behind. But to be honest with you, at the stage that I put the thread and hang is probably when I play about a bit more with the wings. But I'm happy with that in terms of placement. Just secure a little bit more there. Okay, so you can add any embellishment on the back that you want to at all. You can add things to the front like I shown earlier with the card. another thing that's really, really lovely is if you wanted to put a message on there. So I'm just going to get my little got a little pot here that's got lots of bits and bobs in. Generally things that I collect, and I'm not sure where they're gonna what I'm gonna do with them. I keep things from little packs that I get as well. But these, I think I got these from the works. And they're wood. These are really lovely. So something like this, if you wanted, if this was a gift for somebody, or maybe you just wanted to write a little message on, you could do that. And then equally, these are just tiny little pegs. So you could do like a bit of string with a peg on, and again with a message. So I think people more and more love handmade gifts. So that's just a few ideas there for you. So I'll leave you to do your embellishments. So in terms of finishing, these little like clippers I find really good, but I want you to be really careful, because for me this is just about getting, so on the hair I can see on the hair like some fibers sticking up, and I like that just to be a little bit cleaner. Now you've got to be so careful, because you can end up just cutting into your fibre and spoiling your work. So this is something I read once about a lady that does sculpting and her finishing, and she said it's a bit like people who have bonsai trees and they take the tiniest little bits off. You don't have to do this, ladies, at all. You don't need to do that. But I think if you get to the point where you make these and you might want to sell them, a little crafters fair, and please do. I know some people that share have a real problem with you making things and selling them. We live in a big world out there, and there's enough room for all of us. So if I can help you in any way by sharing what I've learned and then using a bit of my own creativity, and this might have spurred you on with loads of ideas on how you can do this, then feel free. So if I'm making something to sell, I always see that as a little bit different to maybe something that I'm creating for me to have in terms of finish, because I'd want that finish, little blow there, to be as good as I can get it, really, without the perfectionist kicking in. So on that hair, I would want to leave some, but that's already a million times better. The wool that I used here to like represent bluebells in spring is quite a bright colour. So some of that fibre had got on the hair and on the face. So that's why I've been doing a little bit of that as well. Again, if you're doing this, ladies, please just be careful. You can do like little clips on your wings if you want to do that, but I'm going to reserve doing that until I hang it. Okay, so a little bit there at the front. You have to be really careful trimming your dress, because you'll end up all the fibre going down to the bottom. But I think in terms of the make, I think I'm happy with her. A head maybe, yes, a touch more. Now, the final stage of this is putting I use it's a jewelry for jewelry making, like the elastic that they do the bangles and things with, because I like the invisible of it, but I find it's quite strong as well. Now, over the years I've invested in doll making needles, because I find then that I can go in from the neck and come up. But you know, you don't need to do that at this stage. All I would say is if you're going through the hair, then you need to make sure that you're going through a point that's quite firm. So I tend to go in around this area. If you go in like that and up, it kind of makes sense in my brain that that's how you do it. But then once you do, you put the string in there, then it tends to, I don't think anyway, it tends to not sit straight. So what you would do, this is what I did with her. So I went in from the back up to the front, put it in. So what I did, I just put a little knot so that she would stay. When I hang her, she just stays. She stays in that position. Okay. But if you do from side to side, that's another option for a hanging better. But you know, it's preference. It's absolutely preference. So you need to get a needle. I'm going to go do that now. Get a needle, get some fine thread. You could use embroidery thread, or I had some thread in my little box here, didn't I, from Christmas, which is like a parcel thread. You'd need quite a large-eyed needle for that. And the other thing is that is going to show, but you might like that. You might like that look. You might want to use like a natural string. Again, you would need a big needle to do that. But I'm gonna just add some of the like the elastic string that I've got, and then I'll show you a finished. Okay. Hi ladies, so here she is. I'll make sure I pop a picture at the end of the video so you can see her in her full glory. But see what I mean by the wings? Once she's hanging, and on my thread, I've gone from this side to that side, and then I've tied it on the top. So I'll turn around. You can see I used that additional flower that I made, and I also put a piece of wool round that I then trimmed so it looks like she's got a little bow there. But you can play around with the wings and get them how you want them. But I quite like the fact that these are big, and yeah, you can definitely see that they're wings there. And the other thing that you can do, so once she's like this, you just need to be careful, but you can secure wool just by gently poking. So this helps, you know, to maybe sculpt more what it is, the effect that you're trying to get on there. But that's our earth angel again. We want to keep squashing her face a bit till I'm happy with that shape. I'm happy with how her hands are. And so in terms of like the tulip part of the skirt, I prefer once you start touching this wool and your hands are warm, it will bring the fibres together, and you can give it a little shake if you want to loosen it. That's all you do to loosen it. But I quite like the fact that she has that shape. If I just take her from a hanging position so I can show you here. So I quite like the fact that she's that shape, but if you want her to be looser, you just hold her by the waist and shake, and you'll get that effect. Yeah. But again, I'll take a picture so you can see her fully. I hope you've enjoyed learning how to make, and I would love to see your makes on my Fibre and Art Facebook page here on YouTube or on Instagram. That would be really lovely. If you do want to go on and progress, I will be putting some additional things up to show you how to make these, which we just do an underneath quite different. So we can show you how to do those, and then are just machine made, but you don't need to do that. You can glue to make those. With our swinging lady, this is for a budgie cage, but it's so much cheaper than buying things like this from crafting stores. I can show you how to make the legs, and again how to secure her on there, and to make dresses from felt. I also wet felt, so I can show you how to make like little jackets and things that I've used on there. And then this that I've put in a little box, I can show you how to do the bottom of that. So there are lots of variations. You've learned how essentially to create a body and a head through using wool and pipe cleaners. You can progress from that onto using wire. Some of the rabbits and things I make a wire frame and add to that. But yeah, this was the start. So happy making, and thank you for watching Sally Bonney Fibre and Art.